One's Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we have a reading for you that is likely about a long-term relationship partner or a family connection. We have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. And so this is either someone who feels like a great sense of loss because they had built a life with this person, or this is someone who is going no contact with a family member. Now, I titled it the way that I did because it comes through as, I've put up with a lot, or I've been very patient, or I've tried to, approach this in a more, I don't know, let's work it out kind of energy. But if it's always going to end up the way that it has, then I need to reconsider and maybe actually go no contact with this person. So that's where we're at, is whoever I'm reading for, you're like, yeah, I just don't think there's anything else to say. So let's call on spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. Hello, Grindhard. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Zatz. Hello, Dana. Hello, Olga. Hello, how's it going? I hope you all are enjoying your weekend. Let's start off with, we're going to go with the Mystical Cat Tarot. All right, what else do we have? Hello, Sarko. How are you doing today? We have Death, the Sea Tom, which is basically the Knight of Cups in the reverse, by the way, and the Ace of Fire, or the Ace of Wands, in the reverse. So when the Knight of Cups is in the reverse, it's like charming or like happy energy in the opposite, right? So what do you think of? Like moody, I don't want to be here, you make me irritated, that kind of thing. Because if you liked this person, you'd be like, sure, go ahead, rub my belly. But if the little guy is in the reverse, then it's like, oh, I don't like you. I don't like you very much. And the Ace of Wands is in the reverse, and I feel like that's because we've got someone who's like, I've tried multiple times. We've had conversations about this. You may have even said that you would change certain things, but you haven't. And therefore, you really have to ask whether or not that means I should keep trying, or if I should just kind of, give it some space, or walk away. All right, what else do we have? Hello, Karish, how are you doing? I know, isn't it? Wow. So we're clarifying the Death in the Reverse card, which I'm taking to mean that somebody is saying this is toxic energy and I don't want it in my life. And this is the person you're cutting out. No, I don't think any of you actually have a demon cat that you are kicking out of your house. But this is somebody who causes things to be more difficult than they need to be. Maybe they're really negative. Maybe this is someone who just really tries to get in your way, doesn't want you to be successful or have, security. We have the Seven of Sea, or Seven of Cups, in the reverse. And I feel like this is you being honest with yourself about who this person is, how they've treated you, and what you can actually expect from them. If their intentions are to consistently mess with you, why would you have any reason to think that they would change their behavior? Clearly, they enjoy making you upset. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Thank you, Zach. All right, what else do we have? The Empress in the reverse. This is someone who doesn't know how to be loving. For many of you, this is coming through as a mother energy. But keep in mind, it's a general reading. So doesn't mean that this is, someone you've had children with, or it doesn't have to be your mom. But this is someone who struggles to have that compassionate, loving energy towards others. Instead, they feel much more comfortable starting arguments or being like overly critical of people. I watched a movie, I think it was Australian for the Australian folks out there. I want to say it was called June Again, about a woman who has like, I don't know what the actual like medical term is, but she had been dealing from or with dementia or Alzheimer's, and then like had a bout of clarity where she was able to like reconnect with her family and, you know, learn a little bit more about how they viewed her. And they did not view her very positively. She was very critical. And this is that same kind of energy, right? Like you have this opportunity to be loving or caring towards someone, especially if you are that person's mother, or of course, if you are in a relationship, the hope would be that you'd want to be loving and respecting towards that person, right? This is someone who instead chose to be like poking at you and causing problems and starting fights and not wanting to give you the respect that you deserve. And I think the fact that you have respect for yourself, or more respect for yourself than you had in the past, it's emboldening you to make the moves that you need to remove that toxicity from your life, whether it's family or somebody that you used to date. Hello, eyes. How are you doing? That's all right, Olga. If it's not your thing, you're welcome to hang out and chat with the folks in the live chat. So we've got, this card's so cute. This is the Four of Cups. And I think the depiction of the cat is pretty accurate because the Four of Cups is about discontent or rejection. And I feel like this is whoever I'm reading, the person who's deciding, I think it's time to go no contact. You're sitting here like, why do I even try? Why do I bother? This person's just always going to be negative, or this person doesn't want me to see you know, good things happen for me, or doesn't want to acknowledge those achievements, doesn't want to show that loving, compassionate side. So maybe it's time for me to put up some boundaries. Right? Does that look like a cat you should pet? I mean, I would. You gotta earn a cat's trust before you can pet a cat, okay? But I'm just saying, not looking like the funniest there. Kind of like, this is my snow pile, and you better keep it moving. Hello, Holy Ghost. How are you doing? Hey, Matt. Hey, no offense taken. We're good. Oh, nice. So we've got Six of Fire or Six of Wands in the reverse. And this would be a card that talks about victory. If it's in the reverse, I do think that this is coming through as how you feel this person views you. If you think so less of me, if you expect me to fail at things, or if you are unwilling to, I don't know, see my merit as a human, then perhaps it would be best if I wasn't here trying to get your approval, or if I wasn't going out of my way to do kind things for you. You know, it makes you question, what is it that I've signed up for, and how is it that you view me that enables you to treat me this way? Because again, we have the absence of loving energy with the Sea Queen or the Queen of Cups in the reverse. This, if it were in the upright, would be somebody who knows how to understand other people's perspectives and is seen as someone who's beloved, or you know, when they say things like they'd give you the shirt off their back, that kind of thing. It's in the reverse, though. This is somebody who's cold. This is somebody who's icy, perhaps. Unwilling to change the rules or accommodate for different perspectives, and quick to judge. Six of Sea, which is the Six of Cups in the reverse, and the Floating Cat or the Hanged Man in the reverse. Stubborn and critical, not loving. These are the reasons why there are perhaps more than one child. There are family members, or there are people close to this person who wonder why they are close to this person. Because this is someone who doesn't try to make things right. You know, it could be someone who prides themselves on not apologizing, always making it someone else's fault, right? Dana, I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, and thank you for clarifying that, Rachel. It was a pretty decent movie, by the way. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing? Hello, Makloa. I think that's a reasonable expectation, Grindhard. All right. We have the moon, the 5 of C, or the 5 of Cups in the reverse. The 2 of C or 2 of Cups in the reverse, and the Emperor. I am so proud of you. Again, whether this is like a previous romantic connection or somebody that you are related to, perhaps like a mother or, you know, aunt or sibling, or doesn't have to be a female, but there have been a lot of like Empress, Queen of Cups references to that lack of feminine side, which can happen in anyone, right? But the secrecy of this person has also been a problem. Someone who probably doesn't want to talk about their own past or doesn't want to admit that they may have had some issues of their own. It's especially uncomfortable when someone is judgmental when they have had some of those same problems in their past and don't want to talk about that, right? If they don't want to own up to who they really are, that kind of thing. Thank you for the tip, Zads. What does Dwight feel for me? I've got that added for you. And I keep saying your name 2 different ways, and I've got to figure out how to stop doing that. I'm sorry. All right. And then did I see... Hello, is it... Can I just call you ILE? How are you doing? I hope you're having a good weekend. So with this 5 of Cups in the reverse, this is someone who seems to have a lack of regret or a lack of remorse. There are issues, there are secrets in the family past. There are probably things that this person did poorly in the context of your romantic or your family relationship, whatever those obligations would be. Most notably being there for you. I don't feel like this would be someone who would be supportive if you had a rough day. I don't think they would be very good at lifting you up if you had some reason to question, you know, what was going on. Hello, Pri, how you doing? Yes, I agree with that. Well put. So we've got the 2 of Cups in the reverse, or the 2 of C in the reverse, and the Emperor. And the reason I said I'm proud is this is your energy here. Doesn't matter what your gender is. This is clarifying that King of Swords, the person who's like, you know what, maybe it's time for some boundaries. Maybe it's time to return that coldness. Not necessarily to lower myself to that level where I'm being intentionally cruel, because that's not what we want, right? You give power to others if you sacrifice the loving side of yourself because of people mistreating you. Don't give them the power of taking away some of that joy that you can have in your life because they don't know how to treat you. Let them act, you know, stupid over there, right? This is you saying, I know what I'm deserving of in terms of respect and love, and you can't offer that. And I'm getting bored of the excuses or the, you know, failures to treat me as a person who deserves respect. So then I think it's probably time to just say, no more. That's enough. Time out or goodbye, you know? Hello, Lee. I hope you're having a good day. Absolutely. I'm adding that for you. Hello, Rick. How are you doing? All right, let's get a few from the Lenormand. This is the Golden Lenormand. Right, exactly. See, one of the things that can enable you to be almost impervious to gossip and people trying to manipulate how others see you is by being consistent in what your standards are. How do you treat people? Are you communicating? Are you going to lower yourself to like name calling? Or are you going to like, you know, kind of keep it as this is the substance of the conversation and we're going to focus on that. I think when you are genuinely trying to make something work and be civil or respectful towards this person and they are declining to offer you the same, it's within, I think, most people's understanding to see why you would no longer want to deal with that person. But if you are, you know, letting it get rather contentious and falling for their attempts to bait you into an argument, it can be more difficult to feel confident about that decision. If it's just, okay, maybe it's not a good time to talk because it seems like you would like to raise your voice, perhaps I'll just excuse myself from the room or end the conversation. I feel like you've made these attempts, but this person is going to try to make it seem like you're the problem. So the ship is about forward movement, and I feel like you're ready to move on. Some of you are actually changing your physical location as well. You may be already looking at a place that you want to live or may already have a job. I think you look at this as somebody who has tried to hold you back as opposed to ensure that you feel confident enough to pursue what you want in life. So if you chalk this up as a loss and it improves your mental health and your ability to get that, you know, goal achieved, then to you it's like, this just makes sense and I agree with you. Just don't let them pull you into an immature conversation or reaction, because right now what they're, if they find out you don't want to be in contact, their goal is going to be to look for some way to blame you for that, right? Oh, well, you should have heard how that person talked to me, or you see what they called me in the text message right here. You know, don't give them any screenshots. Hello, Danny. How are you doing today? So this is the energy oracle, and we do have two angels, which is interesting, especially for those of you where we're talking about a family situation. There could be some extra protection here around you, or maybe even some intuitive messages you've received from people who may not be around anymore that don't want you to waste so much of your energy trying to make things work with this family member, probably because they've been through it as well, right? Maybe it's a repeating situation that happens in your family, also known as a generational curse. Maybe it's something with regards to, you know, I grew up with that person and I know how mean they can be, and you don't deserve to deal with that, you know? But there is some confidence that I think our King of Swords Emperor has in walking away, because there's other people who have experienced similar issues, other people who have, you know, maybe wasted their time trying to be a people pleaser or trying to be what that person expects of them. And I think, you know, you don't want to get stuck in indecision. So the Emperor is about taking action and making choices. And because it clarifies the King of Swords, I feel like this is someone who's looking at it as, I'm informed, I know what's going on, I know it's not easy to walk away from this person, but I also don't feel like staying is the right answer either, because they don't want to do right by me. They don't want to show any respect, right? I can't give no respect. Thank you, Saryam. How are you doing? Should I stay in my actual work or do a career change? And is the end of 2026 and 2027 gonna go well? And which month is important for my love life? Awesome. I've got that added. Thank you again. Hello, lovely Rose. How are you doing? Hello, Annoyed Canoe. I don't know that I would necessarily represent the people in the chat. I would just identify this as a general reading, and I like to make sure that if there are multiple threads or different kind of interpretations, such as the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, I want to make sure to identify those because there will be some variations here and there, whether it's a romantic or non-romantic connection, for example. But that being said, when we get to the personal questions, I take down those questions and answer those. So in that sense, yes, just towards the end. All right, this is the Waite Smith or the Rider Waite. What else do we have? We have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, the Seven of Swords in the reverse, and also the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like we also had the Seven of Cups, didn't? Yeah, there it is. So I don't know that this is someone who's going to respond to what you're trying to accomplish here. You were hoping that this was just like an argument, or this was something that we could like work to get around. Maybe even just like, hey, are you gonna like grow up and like mature and be like nicer and stuff? But when you are waiting for this person to be more authentic, more, I don't know, vulnerable, or more willing to be held accountable, more willing to do right by you, it seems like you just keep waiting for it to happen and it never happens. Especially if this is like an older sibling where you're like, hey, what's up, man? Like, I figured out my ish. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything, but like, I thought like at some point you would stop being like, you know, Kiefer Sutherland and Stand By Me. You know, like, can you be like a little nicer, you know? Thank you, Pri. About a course. It's expensive, eh? Yeah, a lot of the good ones are, I suppose. You want to know if it's worth investing in it. Awesome. It's for a secured and stable job. Okay. Let's take a look at that for you, Pri. Just so you all know, I've got Zatz, Lee, Sarkab, and Pri for my list so far, and we're at 22 minutes, so probably about another 10 minutes, and then I'll start those personal questions, okay? Hello, Renee, how are you doing? We've got the King of Cups in the reverse, Two of Swords in the reverse, and the Empress. Yeah, this is wonderful because, okay, sometimes people can spin their wheels or get stuck trying to get love from a particular source. A lot of individuals who struggle to be in a healthy relationship have unhealed wounds pertaining to previous relationships, romantic or non-romantic. A lot of those can be parent relationships, right? I wasn't treated right by my dad, or I wasn't treated right by my mom, so therefore I don't know how to, you know, express love, blah, 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 right? Not blah, blah, blah to dismiss it, but we've heard a lot about it, right? This is saying that someone here was unwilling to put themselves in a situation where they deal with disrespect or someone who is not very like kind to them, in order to hope that at some point that relationship could be redeemed. Like, if I am kind and patient, you will at some point return that kindness to me. But this is about our Emperor realizing, I actually can show myself the respect and love that I keep looking to you and hoping that you are going to offer to me. I don't need to rely on you. If you have these, you know, frustrations or this anger, or you don't want to heal the problems that you had when you were younger, then I can't heal those for you just by being really nice and tolerant of your misbehavior, right? It's something you're going to have to deal with on your own, and I can show myself the love by walking away from someone who's toxic. So I applaud you because this is really big deal, right? We've got someone who's in the Emperor energy who's also able to exhibit the Empress energy. I'm not going to continue to waste my time or, you know, put all of this stock in one person. I can feel good about myself by walking away from this because I've done what I could to try to make it work. So I'm proud of you. Well done. Moon in the reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This is going to be somebody who tries to make you look like you are a bad person. I can't believe you would go no contact with your mom. I can't believe you would go no contact with your ex. You still have children together. What are you doing? You have to navigate it if you have children, right? But this is someone who's going to try to make it seem worse than it really is, because they don't really have much that they can leverage as far as receipts, right? This is someone who likes to manipulate how others are viewed, but has less and less impact over that because people see them as manipulative. If you have someone who you know for a fact, because you know you're related to them, so you've gotten to know them, that they don't always tell you the full story and they try to make it seem like they're more innocent, are you going to listen to them about what their opinion is in a situation? No, you're probably going to get the facts first. You're going to be like, let's check that real quick, okay? Not saying I don't believe you, but I don't believe you. This is someone who was probably going to find a little bit of a challenge in changing how people view this Emperor Empress, because they've already seen how much you were trying to make this relationship work, platonic or not. Oh, I'm proud of you, Rachel. That's good. Hello, Betty. How you doing? I hope you're having a good weekend so far. What else do we have? We have the Hierophant and another Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. So I do feel like for many of you, this is either like a long-term relationship where you likely were married or maybe even had children, or this is a parent or like a sibling type relative, right? And because of the way that they approach things with you and their resistance to improving on that, or, you know, being more honest or more vulnerable with you, I see you just saying, you know, like respectfully, I just can't do this anymore. I don't think I want to continue to hope for things to be in a better, at least civil situation between us. I don't want to fight. I don't want to, you know, have social media battles, you know, like let's just agree to disagree, and you can be over there and I can be over here, yeah? Hello, great one. How are you doing? Yes. We agree with that skin. Sorry, it's too fun to say the whole part. King of Pentacles and the Devil in the reverse. Again, with the Devil in the reverse, this is you saying that toxic energy's just got to go. You know, I've done what I could. I communicated. I've been patient. I've tried to enable or empower you to make these changes. But if you're not willing to treat me the way that I know I deserve to be treated, then you're not going to have the opportunity to treat me anyway. You know? Hello, Christopher. How are you doing today? We have the Seven of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Strength card. And I feel like this is going to kind of like reiterate or confirm what I was saying earlier about your reputation. Is there going to be some attempt here to make it seem like you're unreasonable or you lost your temper? Possibly, but it's not going to be very successful because people have seen how you interact with this person before. And I think most people are going to have a closer connection or understanding of who you are and your capacity for forgiveness or patience than the other person, right? Did I even give this person? I guess they're the King of Cups in the reverse. We could call them Demon Cat, but that seems awfully aggressive. They'd probably be like, yeah, I am a Demon Cat. But there are people here who have seen how patient and understanding you've been throughout the years, because this is somebody that you've dealt with for a long time. And I don't think it's going to be very likely that anybody's going to believe your ex or your, you know, family member over you because of things that people have already seen. With the Six of Cups, this is like we've seen that you've been forgiving when this person has spoken to you rudely in public or, you know, failed to follow through on a promise that they made. You know, like it's too much history for them to be able to edit it as much as they would like to. This is the Truth Is. Yes, exactly. Let them talk if they really want to gossip. Okay. The people who are going to believe the gossip aren't worth my time, anyways, and the people who really know me won't believe the gossip. So, like, whatever. You know? But that's also why it's important to be consistent in that, in the way that you treat other people. Don't let other people pull you into an energy that isn't really you anymore or never was. This is the truth is. We have time apart will be beneficial. Yep. Some of you will end up being able to speak with this person or reconnect in the future. Some of you will not. It's really about making sure that at this time, if there is a need for one or both of you to focus on your healing, that you do it in a way where it's not constantly being aggravated or put at risk by somebody's bad behavior. This is letting you know that you've already got this potential, this ability to approach people in the right way, even if it does seem at times that things are more challenging than they need to be. One of your purposes in your life could be about how you help people see the need to be a little bit more compassionate or understanding. I don't want you to think that that means you should be sacrificing your happiness or putting up with disrespect. I just want to make sure that you know that when you feel like it's the right time to communicate that somebody needs to treat you better or that you need to protect your energy from theirs, that you don't feel guilty for doing so, because you do come across as somebody who has really put in the time and energy to try to make things work before getting to this point. And sometimes people really just don't learn until they think or understand what it's like to not have access to you or not be in your life. So it does feel like that's what this person kind of needs to be taught. All right, this is the Marigold Tarot. I'll pull a few from here, and then we're going to start on those personal questions, okay? Hello, Third Eye. How are you doing today? Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. We have the Fool and the Four of Cups in the reverse. New energy or a new chapter, something that seems to be quite exciting for you, because you reclaim this energy or this time that you put into whatever this connection was, be it family or romantic. Now you have this extra currency in your life, right? Something that you can do something with. And I feel like you're able to put it into a hobby or a certification or a job search or a house search, whatever it is. It's helping you to create a better situation for yourself down the road instead of constantly worrying about how you can clean up the mess that has happened or the argument that has happened between you and this toxic individual. It's just not a good use of your time, because you shouldn't have to be managing a person who doesn't know how to act like an adult in a conversation with you. You shouldn't have to be responsible for teaching that to them, especially if they're your parent, right? This is, I think, reclaiming your time, you know? Sorry, I'm not going to get into that argument. Sorry, I'm not going to repeat that with you. Or I'm not interested in having this kind of energy in my life. Maybe it's for some of you like a bunch of little no contacts, like, hey, I'm just going to need the weekend and not talk to you. But I do think that this is really about, if you want to be respectful or be at least civil in your interactions with me, then we can talk. But at this point, it doesn't seem like that is something that you are prioritizing or capable of. I would encourage you to try to phrase most of your conversations with this person about yourself, as opposed to calling them any names or talking about negative behavior too much, because they're going to find a way to like turn that around on you. If you are focused on, hey, like, I've just found myself being a little bit too preoccupied or frustrated with how things have happened between us, I think I really need to be able to focus on the projects that I have at hand, and then maybe at a later date we can revisit that. However it is, I just encourage you to avoid giving them too much that they can be like, well, you do that too, because then they just want to start an argument with you, right? If it's about things that you got going on and how you feel, there's not a lot that they can say to critique that, right? So we've got the Queen of Rings or Queen of Pentacles, the Three of Cups in the reverse, and the Ten of Wands. So you do, I feel like, have a lot going on, or things are about to get much busier for you. If you really dig in and dedicate your time and energy to a pursuit, whether that's education or getting a new job or finding a new place to live, I feel like you're able to elevate to this next level. And it comes at a price of making sure that the people that are able to take some of your energy or be in your energy are worthwhile. If you're, spending all this time trying to explain to this person why they shouldn't talk to you like that, then you don't have as much time to focus on the things that are really important. So I do feel like you're able to manifest a new chapter here where things improve because you stop yelling at this person. Not yellow, but like, oh my God, I have to explain things to this person again. Why are you talking to me like that? You don't have to do that anymore because you shouldn't have to, right? Okay, let's start with the personal questions. This is the Morgan Greer. Yes, definitely allowed to be emotional. But we want to be able to manage those emotions, right? Hello, Shamba. How are you doing? Or Shambhala? I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry. Hello, Nat. How you doing? Hello, Carol Ann. What's going on? Hello, Felicia. All right. Let's start with Zatz. We got, what does Dwight actually feel for Zatz? Wow, okay, so we've got the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, Strength, King of Rods or King of Wands in the reverse, and the Six of Wands. This is someone who's pretty indecisive. I feel like there's, one day I wake up and I'm like, that person was great and I don't get to spend any time. What did I do that for? Like this was someone who was calm and let me be who I really am. But then the next day it's like, yeah, but this is what I want. I want to be able to be like unencumbered, or I don't want to have like people with expectations. I want to be on my own. So it's like you kind of challenge what they want for themselves because of what you offer. But at the same time, I don't like that this is someone who's kind of looking at you as, what can I get from you? Is there a desire for a partnership? Is there an ability to view you for being a human with dreams and like what you want? Because I feel like this is very much so focused on, what do I want out of the situation and what can you offer me? So not very bi-directional in terms of giving, right? So the other thing I would point out is I didn't see any cups, okay? We've got pentacles, we've got fire, a lot of fire actually, and now we've got air signs or the swords. This is someone who needs to be more emotional about this. If that were, the questions about feelings and we're talking about what he thinks he can get from the situation, then I would say this is somebody who may even be like an avoidant. You would know. But this is someone who doesn't seem to be really like focused on the feelings. It's more on like, what do I get, right? All right, let's see what we get for Lee and Zatz. You remember that you deserve to be loved and respected, not seen as what you can offer, right? What do we have for Lee for today? What does Lee need to know for today, please? What do we have for Lee, please? We have the Six of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Two of Wands. I feel like this is telling you to take a little bit of a break, have some time to yourself. We've got, with the Six of Pentacles, it's like there's been, or there will be some sort of like window of opportunity. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, not working. So I don't know if it's just like things line up, or maybe you feel like it's time to take a mental health day. But this is saying instead of being too like driven by a to-do list or what can I achieve in the next 45 minutes, take like a mini spa day. Put your feet up, go get a pedicure, or like get a massage, or watch your favorite horrible television. You deserve a break. So when you get that window of opportunity, make sure that you take advantage of it. We do have the moon in the reverse, and I feel like it impacts your mood going into an important conversation if you don't take this time for yourself. It enables you to be calm when you deal with your ex. So yes, take some time for yourself. Do something, you know, to feel amazing and good about it, right? Even if it's just for an hour, even if it's just for a little while. Hello, Stephanie. How are you doing? Thank you for the tip. Oh, you went on a date. FN's thoughts after date. Well, I hope you felt like it was a good time. Let's move on to Sargab. We've got, should I contemplate a change in career? So it looks like you could potentially do something different here. Should Sargab change the career? At this time, it's good to invest a little bit more where you are. I feel like there's more you can learn, and at like not having to pay for it. Even if you are changing a career, there's something here. Maybe it's even as simple as getting like a management experience blurb on your resume. There's something here that you can still get from this current career path, which is going to be helpful for you to gain access into a new career. So this is saying like basically make sure you fill up the wheelbarrow. Make sure you get as much as you can from the current situation. And then there will be a sign, and I do feel like it has to do with flowers. There will be a sign for you that it's time to move on. It's time to take what you have learned and move to a new situation. But I do feel like it's at least a couple months. I do feel like there's something else that enables you to make that move more efficiently or more comfortably. Hello, Nat Nat. Thank you for the tip. Let me add that for you. Energy update on future King of Pence. Got you. And then we've also got Betty. Thank you, Betty. Hello, Wolf. How you doing? Is that what do I need to know? Awesome. I've added that as well. And we've got, for Sargab, the next question is, what kind of energy will there be as far as the end of 2026 and 2027? Will it go well? So basically over the next 2 years, right? I love that. It's Temperance. Temperance is about peace and balance. I think even just looking at the card, you can tell that it's a pretty positive energy. So this is saying in 2026, you're going to be working on basically getting your ducks in a row or making sure everything is situated, improving little things, right? There's that like every week or every month clean that people do. And then there's that like, I'm cleaning my place before somebody who's maybe going to judge it comes over, where you're like all the little details, right? Like, have I dusted this recently? That kind of stuff. I feel like you're getting really detailed in 2026 and setting yourself up for a really excellent year in 2027 because you are thinking about those things, the balance of it, right? Is this what I need? Is this causing a problem? Do I need to change that? Do I need to, you know, talk to this person? I do feel like there's going to be in this year, in 2026, somebody who's going to communicate with you in a way to try to like manipulate you. And I think you're smart enough to figure out what they're doing. The thing is, I think you're going to be a little bit hesitant to feel like this person's actually doing that manipulation because you like that person. But you've got to be able to trust your intuition with that and draw the conclusions that your brain would draw, right? And then which month is important for Sarhab's love life? January, a year from now. Yeah, there's some big change that happens later this year that puts you in different, like you get community, like switch up, right? You meet some new folks. And right now, there's a little bit of stale energy as far as the love department for you. But that's part of why this Temperance card is so important. You're making some of those moves so that you can get that change, right? All right, let's see what we've got for Pre. Is it worth investing in the expensive course that Pre is looking at? Is it worth investing in the expensive course that Pre is looking at? Hello, Eve. How you doing? Hello, Nether. No, I am not a tarot. But that was funny. So we've got High Priest, the Moon, and the Five of Cups. I think it is worth it for you, yes. I think timing is really important. I feel like this is saying not quite yet. So the High Priest is the Hierophant, and this is talking about becoming an expert. When you're the Hierophant or the High Priest, you are often depicted with people that are like kneeling at your feet, right? Like this. And that indicates expertise or wisdom, followers, fans, if you will. There's something here that you're able to leverage, and it does kind of like help you to improve where your trajectory can actually go for your career. The thing here is, I do feel like there is some sort of change happening. As an example, someone else buying and then managing, or someone else teaching the course, a new textbook being added, or even just like the cohort that you would be taking the class with. This is saying be very discerning. What is the sign that will help in terms of the timing? The Sun. But the Sun is in the reverse and the Two of Wands. It could be referring to like an eclipse, or maybe around, well, I feel like if the Sun is in the reverse, this is like either a really stormy situation, so like storm season, if that applies. Because the shortest day of the year would have been December for me, and I don't know if that's true for you. I don't think it's that, though. I feel like this is going to have to do with the Sun and blocking of it, or like less of it. And you may get some sort of like dream confirmation of that, but it's not, I don't feel like it's in the very near future. I feel like it's more like summertime, which is weird because Sun in the reverse, that doesn't make sense to me. Hello, April. How are you doing? Hello, Linda. Hello, Creative. I hope that helps. And I also wish you luck, because it does seem like this is going to make a difference for your career. I see what you're saying, though, as far as you got to make sure that you handle this correctly. If it's that much of an investment, you don't want it to cause any issues as far as the finances, right? You too, Third Eye. All right. Let's see what we've got for Stephanie on the first date. What is FN thinking about Stephanie and the first date? We've got the Ace of Wands in the reverse, the Six of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles. There's something about you that reminds FN of an ex that might be a little bit of a turnoff. I don't know how big of a deal this is because with the Four of Pentacles, this is like, I feel like I need to like kind of keep it to myself. So what is this thing? We've got the King of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like this has to do with emotional intelligence, maturity, or connection. And it could even be that because you would be the type that would expect, you know, someone doing their best towards this relationship. It could be that this is somebody who is a little bit concerned, basically, that you would have too high expectations or that they would have to like really put in the work to be with you. So we could have a little bit of concern because this is somebody who I don't know is necessarily interested in a relationship, or if they were to find themselves in a relationship, they would get kind of, I don't know, spooked, scared off. So with the Queen of Wands in the reverse, I do feel like this is someone who's trying to find more of like an FWB, right? Not really looking for the emotional side and feeling like you would not be okay with that. Hello, Hayden. How's it going? Hello, Vecchio. How are you doing? All right, let's see what we've got. And Stephanie, you deserve someone who's going to be interested in, you know, more than that. So I hope there's some other folks that show some interest. And let's see what we've got for Nat. We're looking for an energy update on the future King of Pentacles. Yes, I remember. That King of Pentacles for Nat. What is the current energy with that person, please? We have Death in the reverse, Two of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and the Two of Swords. This person is at an impasse or needing to make an important decision. And I feel like they're kind of lying to themselves or not wanting to fully let it sink in what needs to happen. So a little bit of a testing moment for this person, right? Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords can both talk about making a decision or having two things that somebody is like kind of weighing out. So it's kind of interesting that they are kind of like bookending the cards that I read, right, on either side. This person may even be just a little bit indecisive, right? I keep thinking that I've made a decision, but then I don't. We have the Seven of Swords. It's just one of my favorite cards in this deck. I know I recently showed it to you all, but it's adorable because this is the weird cat tarot, but this is the dog. It's adorable. Pretending to be a cat, right? You see the cat mask? I feel like this is someone who is trying to be honest with themselves about an individual in their life that they probably need to distance themselves from. Someone who's been not very honest or not very vulnerable. But see how the Eight of Wands cat has one eye shut. It's like, I just didn't really want to admit to myself that you're like a disappointment. I didn't want to be so quick to walk away from something. I was kind of hoping that things would work out. So this person could be in a relationship at this time, or, you know, trying to make things final as far as ending a relationship. But it's been tough to accept that someone has not really done right by this King of Pentacles. Ace of Wands, Three of Wands in the reverse. So I feel like they are unexpectedly finding themselves thinking about a new action or like a new chapter for themselves, right? Are they going to live somewhere else? Are they going to, you know, maybe start dating someone else? Do they need some time for themselves? So this is like the very beginnings of someone contemplating that single life after maybe realizing that a relationship might not be able to go the distance. Yeah, we just, why? You know? All right. So yeah, I think this is probably good timing as far as someone having the time to be able to heal, because I think it was a couple months yet, right? Before they actually encounter you. All right, let's see what we've got for Betty. This is the Earth and Bones Tarot. What does Betty need to know? What is it that Betty needs to know? You're welcome. Oh, I hope you get that break. So, Betty, we've got the Temperance card, 10 of Petals or 10 of Pentacles, Page of Crystals, which is the Page of Swords, the Teacher, and the King of Cups. This is really beautiful energy, like really positive. I feel like you're going to get some communication or some good news. This could be about family. This could be about finances. But I feel like this is more so about somebody that's really important to you, someone that you would consider to be wise. Could be like a grandma or a grandpa, aunt or uncle, or even a parent. But I do feel like there is someone that you're connected to in a family type of way, and you're going to get good news, or maybe even find out that you're able to have some time to spend with this person. But this is saying it's really important to treasure the time and the opportunity to speak with this person now. And I feel like it's because there's an important lesson that you can learn from this person. And maybe you've had a little bit of resistance, or maybe it's been a little bit too busy, but this is someone that you should connect with. I feel like they can help you because you two have very similar dispositions, right? There's an aunt that I have that has always been very special to me. I love my family members, but my aunt has been a bit of a role model, or, had a very special, from the very beginning, special connection with her. Granted, I also did with my uncle, but it's like sometimes a little bit surprising who you end up identifying the most within your family, because of course some of those traits can skip a generation, or maybe you really relate to your half sister better than you do the sister who has same two parents. But this is somebody in your family that is able to give you some really sound advice at this point. And I feel like you're not getting enough time with this person, or there's something in particular that you need to talk to this person about, because they would have very good feedback for you. Hello, Sila. How are you doing? All right, y'all. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm getting hungry, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for liking and subscribing, or hyping if you're able to. And I'll see you on the next reading. Okay. I was almost there, Sire, but hold on. What do Sire's spirit guides want Sire to know? But then after that, you guys, I gotta go because I don't know if you actually heard it because I talked over it, but my stomach is growling. What does Sire need to know, please? We've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Cups in the reverse, and Temperance. I feel like there's something changing for a person that in your past had treated you unfairly. Somebody who had been selfish. They're getting something figured out. They're making a change. They want to make things right with you. Why the Emperor in the reverse? I feel like this is going to be somebody who's softened. So it may have been like my way or the highway previously, or they were very like controlling before. Now they're going to approach you with very like puppy eye energy, right? Like, I'm sorry. Can we like figure this out? They're not going to be dominating or domineering or unyielding or obnoxious like they may have been in the past. This is someone who's going to look at this as, what can I do when I see you to actually show you that I want things to be okay? My apology has to be serious, and my energy has to match what I'm saying. So I do feel like you're getting a very sincere apology from someone who you may not feel is capable of it. All right. I love you guys. I'm gonna dip now. Have a great rest of your day. Toodles.